Rock and roll was built on youth, rebellion, and raw energy, but time is the one force no legend can outrun. These are 10 unforgettable moments when rock stars were forced to confront the truth that the stage might finally be too much. Tap the bell icon so every new countdown lands right in your feed. Number 10. Vince Neil. The Boone River Valley Festival in Iowa was supposed to be a triumphant return. Vince Neil had not performed in more than a year and a half due to the pandemic, and when he finally stepped back on stage, the rust showed almost immediately. His vocals faltered during Dr. Feelgood, and things deteriorated further on a cover of the Beatles' Helter Skelter, when Neil seemed to forget the lyrics entirely and could not hit the notes. 14 songs into the set, he gave up mid-performance during Girls, 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 his voice completely shot. He addressed the crowd directly before walking off, telling fans his voice was gone and apologizing for the performance. The video spread across social media within hours, drawing millions of views and reigniting a years-long debate about whether the Motley Crue frontman still had the vocal ability to deliver the performances that fans had paid to see. Number 9. Paul Stanley.
Child, things are gonna get easy.
20 studio album, over 100 million records sold worldwide. For 5 decades, Kiss built one of rock's most theatrical and consistent live legacy. By the time the End of the Road World Tour launched, frontman Paul Stanley had been struggling noticeably with his vocal range and stamina for years, and the issues were significant as questions about his voice had been circulating throughout the rock community for some time. Then, on June 6, 2022, a missed cue at a show in Antwerp, Belgium exposed Paul Stanley not hitting a vocal line, despite his voice blaring from the PA. Drummer Eric Singer's timing error caused the pre-recorded backing tracks to fall out of sync, and suddenly the audience could hear vocals playing with no one singing into the microphone. Kiss manager Doc McGee later responded, saying Stanley sings along to his tracks and calling the approach enhanced rather than fake. Fans were not convinced, and the clip went viral overnight. Number 8. David Lee Roth.
I've been all around this great big world and I've seen all.
During the peak of Van Halen's commercial run, the 1984 album reached number 2 on the Billboard 200, and David Lee Roth was widely considered one of the most electrifying frontmen alive. His high-kicking, acrobatic stage presence and piercing vocal range made him untouchable. The years, however, have told a very different story. Recent clips of Roth attempting Van Halen classics spread rapidly across social media, drawing overwhelmingly negative reactions from longtime fans. One widely shared post on X showed him performing Panama, captioned David Lee Roth, Panama, the worst one yet. At 70 years old, the response was brutal. Fans wrote that his voice had left the building long ago, with many pleading publicly for him to step away from the stage. Comments ranged from genuine sadness, frustrated disappointment, mourning the gap between the explosive performer of the Hot for Teacher and Jump era and what audiences were seeing now.
Van Halen!
Number 7. Axl Rose. Over 4 decades, Guns N' Roses sold more than 100 million albums worldwide. Axl Rose's voice was the weapon that made them untouchable, covering everything from a gritty low growl to a shattering 5-octave high scream. Considered one of the most versatile instruments in rock history, that reign, at its peak, was genuinely unrepeatable. The decline has been gradual, but impossible to ignore. Fans attending recent legs of the Not in This Lifetime reunion tour documented performances where the high-register screams of "Welcome to the Jungle" and "Paradise City" were no longer accessible, with Rose dropping keys, cutting notes short, or relying on the crowd to carry moments he once owned alone. Music journalists and devoted fans alike pointed to decades of intense performing, lifestyle choices, and the sheer physical toll of attempting songs built around a voice that existed in a rare biological window. The legend is still on stage. The voice that made him a legend is only partially there. Number 6. Jon Bon Jovi. After decades of singing anthems like "Livin' on a Prayer" at sold-out stadiums around the world, Jon Bon Jovi stopped performing because he was having problems with his vocal cord. He tried everything first: lasers, acupuncture, vitamins, collagen treatments, and daily exercises, all before finally turning to surgery. A doctor confirmed one of his cords was atrophying, and surgeons placed a Gore-Tex implant outside the cords to rebuild them. In the 2024 Hulu documentary Thank You Goodnight, The Bon Jovi Story, he recalled the moment his wife Dorothea attended a Nashville concert and told him it was not great, and that she had seen him be great. He said he heard the word retire in his head, and it hurt his heart. After years of recovery, Jon Bon Jovi announced the Forever Tour in 2025, marking one of rock's most remarkable comeback from a man who once genuinely did not know if he would ever sing again. Before we continue, which of these moments hit you the hardest? Did you ever catch one of these legends live in their prime? Drop a comment and let us know where you are watching from. We read every single one. Number 5. Steven Tyler. 150 million records sold with Aerosmith. 40 years of one of the most physically demanding stage shows in rock history. Steven Tyler was never just a singer. He was a spectacle, performing with more raw intensity at 60 than most frontmen manage at 25. Then, in September 2023, everything stopped. Tyler suffered a severe vocal cord injury that derailed Aerosmith's Peace Out Farewell tour before it could find its footing, forcing round after round of postponements. Fans held on through each rescheduling announcement, hoping for the farewell the band had promised. Those shows never came. In 2024, Aerosmith officially canceled the entire tour and announced their retirement from touring, citing Tyler's inability to safely perform the high-register screams that had defined the band's catalog for 5 decades. Tyler posted an emotional message to fans expressing how devastating the decision had been. For one of rock's most recognizable voices, the ending came not on a stage, but in a doctor's office. Number 4. Roger Daltrey. Hope I die before I get old. Pete Townshend wrote those words in 1965, and Roger Daltrey screamed them into rock history as the voice of The Who. For 60 years, that voice was one of the most powerful instruments in British rock, capable of filling an arena without the technology most modern performers rely on. In early 2025, Daltrey went public with admissions that stopped fans cold. He revealed he was battling not one, but 2 major age-related physical challenges simultaneously, going deaf and losing his vision due to macular degeneration, both of which had forced him to completely rethink how he approached performance. He was clear that his voice remained, but navigating the stage with both hearing and sight diminishing was a reality he could no longer ignore. The honesty of his admission earned enormous respect from fans, but it also marked an unmistakable turning point for one of rock's last true legends. Number 3. Bob Dylan.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me in the
More than 125 million records sold, the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2016, a career spanning more than 6 decades and still, remarkably, on tour at age 4. No figure in rock and folk music carries a legacy as towering or as complex as Bob Dylan, and virtually no figure generates more debate every single time he takes a stage. The problem is that nobody can understand a word. For years, critics and fans have written extensively about the near incomprehensible nature of his live vocal performances. At a recent show at the Cadillac Palace Theater in Chicago, reviewers described his delivery as so heavily stylized that familiar lyrics became unrecognizable even to devoted fans who knew the words by heart. Defenders call it avant-garde reinvention. Critics call it something far less charitable. The debate has followed every Dylan tour for the better part of 2 decades, yet the man shows absolutely no interest in slowing down. Number 2. Ozzy Osbourne.
Without each other's help, there ain't no hope for us.
5 Grammy Awards across a legendary career, 3 as a solo artist and 2 as a member of Black Sabbath. Decades of Paranoid, Crazy Train, and Warpaint had made him the undisputed Prince of Darkness. Osbourne was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in February 2019, a diagnosis he revealed publicly on Good Morning America in January 2020, and suffered serious spinal damage from a fall at home in early 2019. By early 2025, he had lost his ability to walk due to Parkinson. The Back to the Beginning farewell concert on July 5, 2025 at Villa Park in Birmingham marked the final live performances of both Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. As a solo artist, with Osbourne singing while seated on a throne, no longer able to walk. 17 days after the show, Osbourne died at the age of 76. Before the concert, he shared with fans, "It's my time to go back to the beginning. Time for me to give back to the place where I was."
All day long I think of things, but nothing seems to.
Number 1. The Rolling Stones. For 30 straight years, the headlines never change. Too old, too slow, past their prime, time to quit. Critics wrote those words across magazine covers and newspaper columns every single tour cycle, starting as far back as the mid-1990s when the band rolled into stadiums on the Voodoo Lounge Tour, and detractors called it a nostalgia act running on borrowed time. Mick Jagger recently proved them all wrong again, celebrating his 81st birthday by partying at the Embargo Republica nightclub in London until the early hours of the morning, with guests including Leonardo DiCaprio, Lenny Kravitz, and bandmate Ronnie Wood. The Rolling Stones are still here, still selling out stadiums, still putting on shows that leave audiences half their age struggling to keep up. In a countdown full of painful endings and heartbreaking goodbyes, they stand as the ultimate answer to the question of when a rock star is simply too old. The answer, at least for the Rolling Stones, has always been never.